There are two new AI models that are currently turning the world upside down. We want to take a closer look at both in this video. Towards the end, there will also be some updates about my channel. It's definitely worth staying tuned, but first let's get to 4.0 image generation. The leading model at OpenAI was DALL-E 3 HD. It was already quite powerful, but always had a sort of comic-like style. And with 4.0, OpenAI has definitely set new standards in terms of image editing in chat. Yes, here's an example. A photo of this woman here was uploaded, and she is somehow being photographed by this man here. And ultimately, the input was made that the photographer gives a high five and also turns towards the camera. And yes, except for the hand here, which might be a bit off with the high five, this is definitely already a very, very good result. There is even more information on this website about what this model can do. Transparent layers, so creating transparency here, the characters are consistent. The delightfully charming thing about it is that somehow, in a way, the developers who built it are always interviewed in interviews. What they did, so all these videos are definitely very well made and worth watching. And of course, we have cherry picking here. So let's take a quick look together at how this model actually works it and how I can use it here. That's why I want to show you this picture first. This is my wife, me and our children in front of this lake by that church in the background. I once had fun editing this picture. Back then, I used Photoshop and the iPad to paint the whole thing and transform it into Simpsons characters. And exactly this kind of thing is what OpenAI now promises with the new image model to be able to do. And I'm going to try that right away. I've now loaded the image here, and I'm now writing to change this image so that it looks like it's from the Simpsons series. Then you can already see the segments are finished here. I'll zoom in slightly. As you can see from above here, this veil from the image disappears. And yes, it generates from top to bottom, but it's already recognizable. The trees are also wonderfully captured. There I come with my gray hair and sunglasses on. It doesn't look bad at all in terms of hairstyle. I'll quickly hold this up here in terms of hairstyle. It actually looks very similar. Not with the color, but otherwise actually pretty cool, definitely. I'm excited about the overall result, but I'm already very impressed with it. The original picture that I drew here took me 2 or 3 days, not continuously, but I was busy with it repeatedly. Nowadays, I would save time if I see the result here and probably do it with OpenAI instead. Upscale it here, yes, off to the printer, and bam, the picture is done. Maybe I need to reload soon so we can see the results down here. I'll just do that quickly. Is the picture really complete? Yes, the picture is completely there. The legs are okay too. Yes, it's basically the same scene and you can recognize it again. And for the effort that it took here, it definitely has a good result. Let's go a bit further and say we don't want Simpsons but South Park. While the South Park image is being generated, ask yourself if you've learned something from me today. If so, I would really appreciate a subscription. I mentioned that I have a few other projects currently underway. I'm desperately trying with a project, you see it here, Babes and Brains, to somehow go viral with shorts. I programmed a new and efficient automation to generate YouTube shorts here, but somehow they aren't getting any views. If you're interested in accompanying me in this project's failure and want to learn more about it, then just write Babes in the comments. Additionally, some time ago, I generated an AI created podcast. I called the whole thing Sprint Whisper. 100% AI generated. I hacked together a few scripts for that. If you're interested in that, then just leave me. Podcast as a comment. For me, it's always very, very important to know what you want to see. Then I can tailor my content exactly to that. So comment with Babes or podcast, or for all I care with both. And then you'll definitely get this content. You should also turn on the bell so you don't miss when I publish a new video. Boom, and the picture is done. I find it absolutely brilliant. Although I have to say now, look there, my wife's leg has disappeared. Nevertheless, you could work that back in now. I definitely find the results amazing. But we were also promised consistent characters. So now we're going to create a picture of a cute baby octopus. There is our cute baby octopus. Now I'm adding a prompt from the demo website we just saw. We just want to turn the whole thing into a video game using a modern video game engine with a bit of user interface. Let's see if ChatGPT can really manage that. We actually have the cute octopus in a 4K resolution game engine. Now somehow or another, the word cartoon got mixed in. So now I've got a cyberpunk cartoon world here, but I wanted more of an open world situation. So I adjusted the prompt again and asked for an open world game, and I made it a bit more challenging because our octopus is now supposed to drive a car. And all of this in 4K, ultra modern game engine, and yes, go for it. The image is almost ready. Here it says the final touches are being made. 4K. Ultra HD is mentioned right here, as well as open world. The scene and the characters are definitely consistent. So I can definitely recognize the octopus here that I generated from the start. I've noticed that apparently the system here from OpenAI is currently under a lot of load. I have to reload multiple times when using it, but yes, it definitely results in a good outcome. There's a small problem with the side mirror. That doesn't seem quite coherent, but otherwise it's perfectly fine. For my part, I'm definitely excited and will probably start doing a bit more image editing with ChatGPT. I mean, why not? Now I've put ChatGPT to the test once again. I said, create a wireframe. It worked wonderfully. Then I said, yes, do the whole thing again, but make it more hollow and empty. Yes, if you look inside here, it now seems to be somehow empty from the inside. I was actually hoping for a wireframe model to come out, but this is how hollow was interpreted here. Then I said it should be made of wood, just to try out another style. That works too. Now the last thing that's still being rendered is, please make it crystal glass. And I believe this will also be a very good result that we can expect here. Reload again. The servers seem to be a bit overloaded right now. So I actually had to reload a few times because the image seemed to be finished, but it wasn't showing up for me yet. It's not a problem at all. Now we can also see wonderfully that it is hollow from the inside. It definitely convinces me. So take a look at it from above. We have our baby octopus in 3D game here, then accidentally inserted into a cyberpunk world cartoon. Actually, we wanted to have an open world game. Works wonderfully. We get a wireframe out of here. A hollow wireframe, low poly, a wood texture applied to our octopus. I bet I could keep doing this forever, turning it 90 degrees to the left, to the right, and whatever else comes to mind. But it's best if you just try it out yourself, or have you already tried something here? Then just leave me a comment about it. Yes, I would definitely be very interested in your experiences. In addition to this groundbreaking image model, OpenAI also introduced this text-to-speech model. And what's new about it is that you can actually input and determine emotions, pronunciation, and so on via prompt. Let's take a quick look at that as well. First, I select here at the top of this page, by the way, OpenAI FM, which is a completely free site that shows this as a demo. For example, and enter a quote here. So roads, where we're going, we don't need roads. And now there are pre-configured characters here. I'll just select one here. And it should be a chill surfer now. Let's see what happens.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
And now we'll take the exact same sentence and just select the scientist. That actually fits the quote better.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
And we'll change the whole thing again in the voice.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
And then you can actually see quite coolly that you definitely get a completely different pronunciation here. And here we have a cowboy. Let's see what happens.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
I like it. Pretty good bedtime story, so a good night story for children.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
And you can indeed really hear how different the pronunciation is that's being made here. It's definitely worth playing around with it, especially because you can generate MP3s completely for free. You just click on download down here and then you get a WAV file. I just said MP3, so a WAV file. What interests me as a developer with a technical background is actually this button up here. I can click on it and now I can select my favorite programming language, Python, JavaScript, or curl. For me, it's JavaScript. And yes, if you know how to program here and how to use this framework in this specific environment, then it's really not difficult to program a script to create automated text based on this. Then you not only have an AI-generated voice, but even an AI-generated voice where you had the opportunity for emphasis and characteristics and so on to incorporate into it. I think that is definitely still a groundbreaking result. If anyone is a bit more interested in how the details look, they can, of course, here also take a look at the entire developer documentation. But I think this website, OpenAI FM, is definitely very, very well done and very, very useful. If I've shown you something new, then consider maybe even subscribing here. If you're interested in the project Babes and Brains TV, where I generate YouTube shorts that are somehow completely unsuccessful, or if you have any tips, then just write it to Babes in the comments or leave me a tip on what I can do to finally get some clicks. Otherwise, I also have my podcast project Sprintgeflüster. It's not like here with OpenAI, but it was definitely programmed with 11 labs. I'd be happy to show you my script with which I fully automate it. So just write podcast in the comments. I would be very, very happy if we see each other here again next time. The decision is yours. Thank you for your attention up to this point. Yours, Marco.